What's your money weakness? What weakness do you usually have towards your money? And by the way, don't dare lie to me. I know almost everyone, they have a money weakness, including me. Everyone, they have their own money weaknesses because, and I know some of you be like, I don't have any money weakness. No, you do. No, you do. You do. You do. That's why probably you clicked on this video. Now, let me tell you one secret. See, when you identify your problem, and you be accountable to yourself, guess what? That's the genesis of making a change in your life. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to shoot out some different money weaknesses and try to propose some of the solutions or some of the applications that you're supposed to do for you to be able to take care of that problem, that it does not metastasize not only to you but also to different people. Now the point is this: if you're watching me for the first time, this is Good Joseph speaking. Why am I good? See, because I do upload a video each and every day and I talk about money and finances, and now I just care about that money that is in your pocket. All right, not to take it but to help you how to propagate it to the next level. So if you love that kind of a cup of coffee, I mean, for God's sake, who hates money? Then if you do, then this is a time to hit that subscription button. There's a small button just next to my subscriber. There's a small button. And if you can see that the word subscribe, you have never subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscription button and also like the video, comment on the comment section, because I always reply to your text and your questions. All right, let's get into the business now. See, we're talking about financial weaknesses or money weaknesses, okay? Money weaknesses, just admit, there's nothing wrong with you having this money weakness, but there is totally something wrong with you having these money weaknesses, but you don't want it to be addressed. All right. So some of money weaknesses, they actually affect you differently. For example, let's pick a person A. You find this individual, the money weakness, this is an person who you can say they are impulse buyer. Impulse buyer. This is a money weakness. Impulse buyer, it means that, see, the word, there's nothing wrong with buying. See, you can buy something that you're investing. So you can buy a house, you can buy a land. You can buy some product to sell. There's nothing wrong with buying. Get what I'm saying? But there is something wrong with to do with impulse. When we have a prefix of the word impulse before the word buy, that's where we have the problem. That's where we sort of disorient the entire stretch of the pie. Now, see, when we impulse buy, it means that you had no plan. You had no plan. No plan of buying that thing. There was no pre-existing plan for you to buy that thing. Meaning that you have no plan. You do not have plan, either consciously or unconsciously. There are people who just buy things unconsciously. Not that they love to waste their money, but they do so unconsciously. Now, when they go back to their consciousness, now they realized, I've messed up my money. But there are people, again, who do so consciously. So if you have no plan consciously, and you do so unconsciously. So if it's consciously, then you are ignorant. I wish I had a better name to call you, because if you know consciously you are buying that thing and you had no plan, and that is called impulse buying, means that you're going to affect your money or waste your money, then you are ignorant. Probably you are the person who say, YOLO, that is life, you only live once. So therefore, you need to be educated. First of all, bring down your ego, bring down that ignorance, and learn what you learn or you have learned, relearn, so that at least you can do something about this, because this is the biggest bug that affects or eats people's money without them noticing. If then you do so unconsciously, it's something that is inside of you. The moment you see a hotel, the moment you see a good shoe, the moment you see a sneaker, the moment you see whatever the thing it is, the fast food, you jump in, you eat, then once you're full, you go back to your logical senses, you realize that you've lost a lot of money. Then if you behave that way, then what I should tell you, you go ahead and do what? Minimize, or guess what? If possible, eradicate what we call idle money. What does it mean? Idle money is that what we call, it's uncommitted cash. What does it mean? It's a cash that you just have it there. It is not committed. It's not for school fees, not for rent, it's not for fuel, it's not for anything. It's just there. It's yours. You got paid, like, let's say, yesterday. So avoid having that uncommitted cash. Now, how do you avoid having uncommitted cash? Now, the way you avoid having uncommitted cash, guess what you do? You go ahead and do something that we call engaging either into an investment or into building a portfolio. For example, you can pick something like, some people usually tell them, though it's a weird example to give you, but you can try it out. You know what they say? There are two things that makes people responsible. Either you have kids or you have a loan. That keeps you on toes. I stand corrected. Depends on who is watching this video. The point is, if you want to have something committed, you can go buy a property. Even if it's not an asset that generates cash, for God's sake, you'd rather even have that property than eating that money just like that. So go ahead and acquire property. So you can acquire property that you're actually committing into paying each and every time. So your money is not idle. Money comes in, gets out. Money comes in, gets out. Money comes in, gets out. So that way you do not have that cash that you can say, hey, guess what? I can go grab that mocha cocktail, Americano, espresso, cappuccino. You cannot grab it at any given time unless you plan for it. Commit your money somewhere. You're investing. You say, guess what? At the end of this year, I won't get an X amount of money. Therefore, it means that I have to save an Y amount of money. So you commit the Y amount of money to a point whereby you don't have the I money, or we call them the idle money, or their committed cash. That is exactly how you go ahead and treat this problem we call the impulse buyer. These are like, maybe I can say 2 times 3. 2 times 3. 2 times 3, maybe a doctor of the world of the finance. Those are exactly what you're supposed to do. Making sure that at least you cater for that, and making sure that you commit each and every coin. On that basis, you treat that problem. Let's go to the problem number 2. The problem number 2, let's go to the disease number 2. You tell me which disease you have. We have a disease called being too good. Being too good. Being too good. Being too good. This is an individual who be like, I don't even know exactly what is happening with my money. If somebody just tells me that I'm sleeping hungry, if somebody says, I just send my money home, I just do this, I'm too good. By the way, people take my kindness for weakness. I don't even know where my money is, and all those kind of things. So being too good. Why? See why? We have 2 receptors here. We have the receptors of the emotions, and then we have the receptors of logic. There's nothing wrong with you being too good, by the way. We are told to be too good. It's good to be, but that's not the problem in the society that you're living in. When you become too good, they take advantage of you being too good. Now, we have the emotions, or we have the receptors, we call the emotional receptors, we have the logical receptors. Now, you have a problem with emotional receptors. You are too emotional when it comes to cash. You engage your heart. The emotional receptors usually come from your heart. They usually come from your heart. The logical receptors usually come from your brain, right? Do you know why? Have you ever heard of something people say, hey, I'm being heartbroken? Have you ever heard of something like I'm a brain broken? No, you can't get it, because most of the people tend to love with the heart. Unconditionally, just give somebody your heart. And then when you talk about the money, when about the logical, is when you think, okay, you say you love me, okay, fine. Let's think about the issue. See, when you think through than when you feel through, you're going to make what we call things. So there is nothing wrong with helping people, giving them cash, supporting them, and what have you. But there is totally wrong when you actually all the time you engage the emotion. Sometimes it's good to scrutinize the situation when you're being asked for money. Somebody has called. Fine. You need some 10K. Okay, fine. Justify. Why do you need the 10K? Okay, fine. So how much do you make per month? Okay. How much do you plan for your money? How much goes for your rent? How much do you justify everything that you do? It may sound stingy, harsh, frugal, minimalist, or all those kind of things, or mean, but the point is you're taking care of all of you. I want you to get that correctly. I want you to take care of all of you. Do you know who is all of you? Them and you. See, when you take care of them without you, it's not all of you. Why? Because probably the way you are created, or the way you are, it is not the way you are. Some people tend to think, I'm going to do the best that I can to them for them to be able to reciprocate that to me. But that turns out to be against. I know biblically we are supposed to do that. That's for sure, we are supposed to do that. But now the problem is that nowadays we have people who are heartless, people who do not have the emotion and all those kind of things. So the point is, take care of them as you take care of you, grow through. Can you imagine this? You have a family, you have kids, you have whatever. You're taking all your, let's say you're married, you have a wife, you have kids. You're taking all your money, you're throwing back at your home. The home that you, see, there are 2 types of home. We say the home that you came from and the home that you created. Those are 2 different homes. Even the Bible says that a woman and a man shall leave their homes and shall be united and become one family. Let's learn to treat that family as the new home. They are supposed to build them. For me, I usually find it financially unwise to actually take money from, let's say you're a wife, and maybe your husband has given you that freedom of you can do and you can access the finances, the bank accounts. Now you're going to the coffers and sending that money home. That's financially unwise. Why? Because the Bible says one shall leave from your home and the other shall leave there. They shall come together, shall become one body, and they shall live together, and all those kind of things. So it's unwise to actually take the money and take to that place. But I'm not saying you should not never turn back. It is good when you do that collectively. It is not you helping them, but it's you, like you and he and she, or whatever they think it is, you together deciding to commit that cash as far as that investment is concerned. So it's always good to make sure that at least you be someone who is good. The other problem we can actually discuss about here, you'll find somebody who actually have thing we call too good to trust, or too good to trust, or too fast to trust. You find some people, you sell them an idea today. Hey, you know what? We can be able to buy this machine. We can be able to buy these animals. We can be able to buy this thing. The guys are just. Let me just say, you are frail. You're just frail. You're frail, or you are wombling. You do wombling. Is it called wombling? You womble. You're not this guy who is firm. You stand to. For example, if you come to me and tell me, hey, you know what, Joseph, there is an opportunity I want us to invest. Yeah, there is 1, 2, 3 things I have realized that you can actually make some G's out there. Yeah, sure, amazing. I mean, I love the thing, but see, I have to scrutinize and understand. Okay, fine. How much are we making? Sure. How long are we going to make this? Okay, fine. So, where are we investing? Where do they invest? Because all goes to see. It doesn't make any sense me coming to tell you, you send me the money, then I'm gonna multiply the money. Have you even bothered where I invest the money? And if then you know where I invest the money, then is this then possible for you to actually bypass me and invest by yourself? You get the thing? So it is good to make sure that you're not wombling or you are not frail. Don't be frail in the world of investment. There are people who you tell them, guess what? Farming is the best. They go withdraw their cash, boom, show me how to farm, boom. By the way, you being frail in the world of investment or investing, it is good and bad at the same time. If you pick a thing that works for you, boom, you're good to go. But now the problem is that the actions that you're taking are not calculated risks. And that is exactly where the problem is. So it is good to make sure that you tame that animal, that beast inside of you, of to invest, of to take the next step, of to go ahead and do all those kind of things. It is good to make sure that at least you mingle in around all those kind of things so that you don't lose your money. Remember one thing, the principle of the money is not even investing. It's about capital preservation. It's about prolonging the ownership of that money. So make sure that at least you take care of these things. There are other problems. There are other weaknesses that people have as far as the money is concerned. You find some people are so clingy. We have people, we call them the clingy people. That is point number 2. Point number 4. Clingy people. What are clingy, or who are clingy people? These are the people who they just take the money they save. They have the saving culture inside of them. They take the money, they save it. They take the money, they save it. They take the money. You try to whisper something at their ears about it. You say, I don't want to lose my money. This is my. You get the thing. There's nothing wrong with savings, but it's not really that what makes people wealthy. That cannot achieve you financial freedom unless you're a politician and you're stealing a lot. That's the only time you can create financial freedom. Now, the point is, don't be clingy. Clinginess is that aspect of you try to tell them, hey, you can buy a property and try to do something. See, I don't want to do that. It's so bitter. I don't want to lose my money. They're so clingy to their cash. Someone else, you can tell them, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to do that. But they don't move. They are so rigid. You try to move them unless they fall, but they cannot even make a step. I understand that's a problem. And sometimes that comes with what we call the childhood trauma. That comes with what we call childhood traumas. You can have some traumas. Why? Maybe you were born poor, and then every time your mom and your dad used to tell you, money does not grow on trees. We really need to save money. We need to do all those things. So you grew up with this mentality that money is a scarce commodity. It's not there. The moment you get it, you save it as much as you can. By the way, there are people who usually go to a point whereby they can even make their families suffer. Yeah, I'm telling you. There are people who find like even they cannot even buy clothing. They're just there. They just want to save money. Sometimes you don't judge them. You see, there is a whole of the world of financial wisdom. Because if you didn't know, my brothers and sisters, even the what do you call them? The marriages broke because of finances. Over 75% of them break because of finances, because of money. Let's say, for example, you get a man like that. What would you do? How do you handle the guy? You think like the guy is just don't want to save you. But can you even ask yourself, like, does this guy even suffer from the childhood trauma? Why does he even behave like that and all those signs? But because you just love somebody and then you get into things, then you tend to learn something ahead of there. You can even marry a lady who is, what do you call them? A spender. There are people who we call them the spender. People, that's another weakness. A spender, someone who sees money, believes a product to be used. You get the money, you invest. You get the buy, you buy things, you enjoy yourself, enjoyment, you enjoy it. You try to sell the idea that paying yourself is not when you buy yourself a shoe. Because when you buy a shoe, thinking that you're treating yourself. No, you're not treating yourself. You're treating the sellers of the shoes. You go to that hotel, you squander a couple of thousands. You say, I'm treating myself. No, you're not treating yourself. You're treating the owner of the restaurant. When you treat yourself is when you save, is when you have some money under your name. Why? Because probably you can decide tomorrow not to work. Because most of you guys hate their jobs. True? So it is good to make sure that you understand some of the, and if you're watching this video and you're not yet married, my friend, take this caution, take this precaution as early as you can. Understand the person whom you're facing with. Try to understand their background. How would they come from? How do they perceive money and all those kind of things before you get these things into the relationship when you're having a serious thing. So all those are weaknesses. I think I've shared like 7 of them or 5 of them. I've talked about impulse buyers. That's the first one. I've talked about being too good. I've also talked about your being frail, too good to trust or too easy to trust. I've talked about clinginess. I've talked about things to do with you being a spender, someone who just sees money, thinks about spending, using it out there. By the time you realize you have no money, then you go back to square one. And by the time you realize that years are gone, you're 70, you're 80, you're done. You get the thing. So those are weaknesses, and believe that I've shared some substantive information about how to treat those weaknesses. And if you've gotten something, show me on the comment section. Yeah, yes, I did. Just say that. If you say yes, I did, I know what you mean. For now, it's a good buy. And by the way, if you'd like to get my booklet, by the way, I have a new booklet that is out. It's about personal, by the way, it's not just personal, it's practical personal finance. It's not a theoretical kind of a book. No, it's a practical personal finance. You can grab it. It goes for only 300 Kenyan shillings. That's $3. How do you get that? Go grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call, or you can go ahead, shoot me an email, because the email is there, or shoot me a text on the WhatsApp. We can get started. That's how we help each other. For now, it's a goodbye, and don't forget to leave me that like button. Share this video if you're in a position to. Share it to your family groups, yeah? Share them. Share to your family members, to your kids, to your sons, to your daughters, your church members. Share to everyone who is out there. Share to your politicians if it's possible. See you there.